the Silver Screen Project.
Welcome to the Silver Screen Project, where we look back at a series of films in anticipation of an exciting new cinema release.
In preparation for Guardians of the Galaxy Vol.3, we went back and watched Guardians of the Galaxy. We went back and watched Guardians of the Galaxy Vol.2, and now we're here to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special. God, that's a mouthful. I really struggled with that one.
The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special is the full title.
That's what I meant. It's not what I've written, but it's what I meant. All the way back from December last year.
Very unseasonal coverage, isn't it?
Yeah, this is our most recent Silver Screen Project by far.
I think it is, isn't it? Yeah.
So what did you think of the holiday special?
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I mean, I kind of came out of it thinking I'd like to see more of these, like not necessarily with the Guardians, but just holiday specials. And then we kind of had the Werewolf by Night Halloween vibe there.
Yeah.
I don't really know what other ones they could do. Maybe another Halloween one, but I generally liked it. It was nice to see more of Mantis and Drax because their relationship in 2 was really fun.
Yeah.
And that expanded. I think certain parts of it's a little bit confusing where it falls in terms of the films because there's characters that are there who we've never met before.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it was a fun little mini adventure, and I like these specials. What did you think?
Yeah, I think it was kind of weird watching it in April. I think at the time I enjoyed it more, probably because it was Christmas and stuff. And I think it's definitely got moments that are like, oh, that's fun, or even stuff where it's like, oh, this is actually quite important, like Mantis and Peter Quill being brother and sister. But I did feel for long parts of this, it was a bit boring.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think because
it didn't need to be 44 minutes.
It's almost kind of made to like watch once over Christmas and then never watch again.
And the thing is, like, even though there's those important parts, they'll do the thing in the first scene of the next one and go, hey, remember that we're brother and sister, you know, from that planet guy or whatever.
Yeah. Or have them like reveal it to the rest of the team.
Exactly.
Or something.
Yeah.
Because ego, you know, But there's definitely bits I like you said. Mantis and Drax, we touched on last time, are fun in number 2.
Yeah.
A big part of this film is those two going off, they are a really fun combo. I think Mantis is better suited with Drax on a 1-1 than any of the other Guardians.
Yeah, because they're both, I think we said last episode, both got a naivety about them, but in different ways, whereas she's more caring and he's more kind of selfish and kind of brutish.
Yeah.
And they're the perfect people to explore Earth, you know, Los Angeles, Hollywood on Christmas period and just see all the weird sights and not understand it. Whereas almost every other character from the Guardians would at least kind of react to things in a more normal way.
Or they put 2 and 2 together and figure out what's going on.
Exactly, yeah. So there's some great moments, and we don't need to cover all of it, but like the Hollywood Boulevard bit's really fun with them. Yeah. Where there's all the dressed up people and they're making the money and stuff like that.
I couldn't work out, like, do people on Earth know who Mantis and Drax are?
I think they just, maybe. Because there is, like, in Ms. Marvel, we saw there was, like, a convention, like Avengers Con, and people dressed up as characters that...
How do they know who the Guardians are?
I was going to say Scott Pilgrim. What's he called? Scott Lang.
Scott Lang. He wrote a book.
He wrote a book about it, and he was on podcasts and stuff. Yeah. So he might have described people, and they might have.
There's a bit on that Hollywood Boulevard bit where Mantis is like, "Oh, look, it's Steve," because some guy dressed as Captain America, and I was like, "Did they ever meet?"
They were
both in Endgame,
and they would have been at the funeral. So I guess they had a little funeral.
I don't think the Guardians were at the funeral.
I think they were. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they all wear black because I think every single character is at that funeral.
Oh yeah, no, I think you're right.
Yeah. They're somewhere near the back.
Yeah,
but there's fun moments. But yeah, she would have known that he was gone probably at this point. I guess they just flew off into space.
Yeah,
but yeah, there's good moments like the bar. The Christmas music throughout is mostly good. There's a couple of exceptions. I
did like how it didn't just go with a classic Christmas playlist. It starts with the Pogues, obviously, but it goes with more like it's got Julian Casablanca and things like that.
I really like that song.
It's so do I. But it's a more like rocky Christmas playlist.
I don't love that Wombat song. I think
it's a good
moment in this, and it kind of fits. But I feel like it was a real weird feeling seeing like new Marvel stuff and hearing the Wombats at the same time. My brain was a little bit confused.
I get that. But yeah, I like the kind of rockier sound does suit the Guardians aesthetic more than like classic Christmas.
And there's some original, or at least I imagine they're original songs too, which it makes sense for a special, but it would kind of surprise me both at the time.
We get
now.
the one in Nowhere right at the start.
I think that's fun.
It's pretty fun.
It reminds me of like Nightmare Before Christmas, where they kind of don't understand the concept, and it's all this.
I felt like it dragged on a little bit long. It's
very long.
It kind of got to a point where it's like, I get the joke.
Yeah.
Like,
I do like Peter's just like, no! And it's like, yeah, but he keeps doing that, and it kind of. And then we get, we haven't mentioned Kevin Bacon yet, but we get a Kevin Bacon song at the end. I think
Kevin Bacon's fun in this, both when he's being controlled by Mantis and not.
Yeah.
He plays Kevin Bacon really well,
he does,
and he's just a fun addition, particularly because of all the history of Kevin Bacon in these films.
Of course, yeah.
It's fun to see him have this cameo. So yeah, I think that was a good
positive. I think I mentioned it because we have spoken about this on the pod before, not in as much detail as this. We did a personal project. I do think they missed a Home Alone joke there. Christmas, two people break into Kevin's house.
Yeah.
I know that at one point Star-Lord does a kind of Kevin hands on head like shocked face.
Yeah.
But like
there's something there.
There's something there that maybe they cut it out.
The last Home Alone film was released straight onto Disney Plus as well, so it's not like it's a rights thing.
So it's strange, but yeah.
I think one thing that was a definite positive, which is always going to have to be there with a holiday special, is that it is a pretty heartwarming thing, particularly when Kevin Bacon is like calling his wife and being like, "No, I've got to stay here. I've got to teach some guys about Christmas." So it's like. It's got to be like that. It's quite well done, and it's quite nice. And
they're all giving the gifts, and that's a combination of like jokes, references, and just nice little moments.
The gifts were one of the highlights for me. Like Bucky's arm being given to Rocket is like, where the fuck did that come from?
There was a bit of confusion because I remember when this was released, end of last year, people were saying that it was the black and gold arm from that he has now. But to me, watching it back, it looks like the original silver arm, right?
Oh, see, I thought it was
black and gold. You thought it was black and gold, yeah. Because that one got shot off by. We're getting, into the details now, but the silver one gets shot off in Civil War by Tony at the end. So it would make sense if it was that version.
Yeah,
but then it's funnier if she's somehow stolen like his current version.
That is the one he said he wants, wasn't it? Rocket. Said I want that arm.
The black one, it would have been. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So maybe he did.
I mean, it doesn't.
Maybe he's got a new nanotech.
I really do not care about the idea of it, but I was just trying to figure out that. Yeah. And there's other funny little
the gifts where they all got the little wooden things,
diorama
and it gets to Craiglin, and he's got the diorama of himself opening it,
and it just goes down and down.
It's a great joke.
It's so cute, and I think it's Groot that makes those. Isn't it? Which is quite.
And it's also weird because it's basically like the holiday special. It's Mantis Drax's adventure on Earth in different things, and like Groot wasn't even there for that.
No, so he's
obviously
what
been
did you think about Groot in this? We don't get masses.
We don't get much. I think the main take from Groot is that you can see he's grown up again. Yeah, from when we saw him.
He still seems quite childlike, doesn't he?
He does seem childlike, but he's bigger than he was in Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
Which I think that's the main point, is that he's older.
He's older.
He doesn't really do much in this episode.
No, he does a bit of dancing around, and he seems to be quite like he's moved on from his moody phase from the previous film.
And I'm like, that's fine. It's a stepping stone to what we're gonna see in the next film.
I imagine he'll be able to do a bit more because he didn't really do anything when he was teenage Groot, did he?
No,
he used his arm to make Stormbreaker or whatever.
Yeah, and there's the Battle of Wakanda.
Does he do much?
There's the bit where
I think I've only seen it once.
Thor's talking to Steve Rogers, and he's like, "This is my friend Tree." He's like, "I am Groot." He's like, "I am Steve," because at that bit he's got the classic his arm through like 6 people.
Right. Okay. So he is doing a bit of that.
He is fighting around there.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to wherever that goes. Yeah.
I think one last good thing that I enjoyed from this is that it was just fun seeing the gang back together. Because obviously we'd seen them in Infinity War and Endgame, where Infinity War mainly, but they get split up pretty quickly at the start because Rocket and Groot go off with Thor. So the last time we properly saw them do stuff together would have been Guardians 2. Yeah. And even though they spend most of this apart, it's still just nice seeing them all in a familiar place for them. It's just like, yeah, I like these
given
people.
their own time and all that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Just a couple bits before we move on, like the semi-fight with the police is fun. I think when we spoke about it before on pod, we kind of said you never see these guys up against just normal people.
Yeah.
And it's just like
they're both shooting Drax, he's just laughing.
He's just laughing.
Yeah.
And like Mantis is just putting everyone to sleep. He flips the car, even chasing Kevin Bacon around. She's like this weird little sticky alien jumping.
Yeah,
on
and
the
they
walls.
can both just jump loads and really high. And it's
it's
cool.
Very funny. I love that how much they like rag on actors, just saying they're repugnant. It's just very self-deprecating.
I liked that first time when I first saw it. I think this time when I watched it, I think there was one too many joke. At first I was like, oh yeah. I think the third time they did a joke, I was like,
I feel like they were kind of going off the Drax finds her disgusting jokes kind of thing of volume 2.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of him being like, ugh, and it's kind of that again, like them pretending to be sick kind of thing.
It's also fun when, like you said, when they go to the bar and he's like, no, dancing's disgusting. And he just gets like pissed. He gets really
pissed with all the guys, and she's just like loving it, dancing around. Yeah, very good fun. I don't have too much else. There's some interesting little character bits with, like, so I mentioned before, it kind of leads into bad, really. Cosmo, the space dog, who I imagine is going to be a big part of Volume 3. But
maybe
also
might just be on Nowhere.
Yeah, but it just seems weird because we've seen that character as like a post-credit scene and in the back of the collector's thing.
Yeah.
But for them to be there, it kind of seemed a bit strange that
it made me think for this, the first time around, I was like, oh yeah, Cosmo's going to be a thing. For this time round, I was like, actually, every time, so what, the third time we've seen her?
I think she's been in every one so far.
Every time it's been on Nowhere. So I think it might just be a character or not. So I reckon there's going to be at least
the fact she got a speaking part for the first time made me think.
I think she might have potentially a big speaking part in Nowhere. Because the fact they mentioned in this that they bought it
as well. Yeah, that's another thing.
I reckon it's going to be a significant part, even if it's at the start of the film or Volume 3 on Nowhere. And Cosmo will be there. Whether or not she'll go off on the adventure with them, I'm not so sure about.
It depends how it fits in, because I know that they're going to be looking into Rocket's background a little bit in it. And there's the animal crossover there, maybe. Who knows? But she doesn't seem to be the same kind of experiment as him. She's got kind of a suit that talks.
Yeah.
And she's got telekinetic powers. I mean, I love it. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, there's another concern there that you then overbuild the team, have too many people sharing the screen in the team. Yeah. I know we've lost Gamora, but we've kind of gained Nebula, gained Mantis.
And I think, I imagine they'll be trying to get that original Gamora in part of this, because that seems to be kind of, I mean, that was how their adventure ended in Endgame, wasn't it? He kind of was like, I'm going to go get her.
But we don't see her in this. So.
And also Mantis has grey hair now. I never noticed that last time. And Drax is wearing a shirt the whole time, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because Dave Bautista doesn't want to get quite as in shape. But then he was in Glass Onion and he was buff as fuck. So.
This was all filmed during the production of the Volume 3, so hopefully he would have already got in shape.
Yeah.
Not that Dave Bautista needs to put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Or maybe he just didn't want to paint his chest for that day.
Yeah, because it takes hours, doesn't it? Going into the negatives.
Bad bit.
The animation at the start and the end is horrendous.
I know,
it's awful.
It's a Star Wars holiday special reference, right?
But kind of. I've got a bit of trivia on it, so I'll save that. But
I mean, the first thing you see, and that Peter Quill looks disgusting.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw it when it first came on, I was like, if the whole episode is like this, I'm not gonna make it through it.
No,
it's horrible.
Yeah, he's awful, and also like I was a little bit confused. Because I understand, and I was speaking to Amy about this after we finished, and I was saying, but we are kind of led to believe that Peter has had this horrible time with Yondu the whole time.
Yeah.
And she said to me, well, you can have a bad relationship with someone and still have good moments. And I think that's what this is supposed to be.
Yeah,
and in hindsight, he's viewing it as the nicer thing than it was.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where he might have had, when he started getting like an angsty teenager and growing up, he might have had like selective memory and I remember the bad stuff. But now he's kind of
the tree getting mashed up.
Now that Yondu's kind of been redeemed, he's actually remembering the other side of the story.
Obviously, that's very nice to see Yondu, even in that disgusting cartoon form, and it's the only way they can bring him back, other than like a video log or whatever. So but you got any other bad bits? Really?
Just the fact that it got a little boring at times. Like I enjoyed it for the most part, but there was just times I'm just like, it'd be only be like 30 seconds or a minute at a time. I'm just like, okay, move on to the next.
I know what you mean. I think when it's, I don't know, I can't pin my finger on it exactly. I think they take a bit too long for Kevin Bacon to come back. That kind of drags out a little bit. I quite like all the turning the lights on. That's quite a long bit, but it's that kind of heart bit that we were talking about. It's somewhere, I don't know. There's just, it takes them a little while to get going. And the adventure, most of that is okay.
Like I said, it's just like the odd minute here or there where it's like it's gone on too long.
Yeah,
and
I totally see that. Yeah.
As I was watching, as it kind of finished, I was like, this might be the last time I watch this.
Oh yeah.
Like even when it comes out next year,
unless it's between that and some other holiday special I don't want to watch, and I'm given the choice.
Yeah,
that might be and the Wombat song I don't like it. It's fine, but it really pulled me out of it. I think a
friend of the pod, Hamish, should be disgusted by this. Have you got any other negatives before we go into trivia?
Nothing. Well, I'm unsold on Buff Groot, but I'll.
Yeah, same. But
I like his cute face, and he's a bit more similar to the original.
Buffer than the original, though, which is kind of weird.
Because the original was quite tall, and this guy's normal height but much wider.
Yeah,
interesting.
I guess he's.
I'll kind of reserve my judgment on that one, but it's in the middle somewhere.
I guess this apple has fallen far from the tree.
Because he's a tree.
Yeah, you like that.
It's all right.
So the one bit of trivia I've got is for the flashback scenes, they used old school rotoscoping animation in the style of Ralph Bakshi. Ralph Bakshi films that James Gunn watched growing up that gives the 70s and 80s nostalgic Christmas special feel. So obviously he grew up in the 70s and 80s.
It's too clean. It looks like a flash animation.
Yeah, they filmed actors Luke Klein, Michael Rooker, and Sean Gunn. Luke Klein playing young Peter. And then traced the footage frame by frame. Luke's features were then altered to more closely resemble young Peter. Rooker's fin was added, and Sean was reduced in size to his younger self. The rotoscoping effects were done by Stupid Buddy Studios, but I kind of see, because I haven't seen a lot of Ralph Bakshi stuff. I've seen parts of like the Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, but it's much better done than that.
Yeah, I can see the similarities in that kind of style, but that was kind of it's a 70s thing, so like. It works. This in like a very like modern.
It looks very, very clean.
It just looks weird. Yeah,
it really looks like, I don't know if you ever. I may have even mentioned it last time. Joel Haver, who's a comedian. I mentioned he does the Oscars thing where everyone makes the films. Yeah, he does an animated style which is very similar, but it's intentionally a bit ugly because it's over little like surreal sketches. And he does a thing where occasionally the lines will kind of trace and it will leave a bit of a ghosting behind it. And it's intentionally looks a bit weird.
Yeah.
But this isn't supposed to look like that.
No, it's a bit of
Ralph Bakshi's also, it's less traced and it's more
just like
stylized.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
But yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
No, I get that totally. Yeah.
But anyway, so the last thing to do is to ask you whether this holiday special got you more or less hyped for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Project Yes or Project No.
That's a real difficult one. I actually hadn't thought about it, which is very bad for me. I'm sure very bad for you listeners, because you have to hear me mull it out live on air now. I mean, to be brutally honest, if I'm purely answering that question, you're all hoping I'm going to answer this question, aren't you, everybody? If you're hoping, if I'm answering the question, the answer is Proj No, because the other two really hyped me up for it, and I was excited for the film anyway. But this didn't. It's not teasing anything. It's not leading into. I want to see what happens with her. She's cute. And I like, but also, you go.
I'm also Proj No. Like the first two did, but if you're asking if this got me more hyped, I'm no more hyped for Volume 3 now than I was after watching Volume 2. It's just kind of that happened.
Yeah, so, I mean, like,
Proj No for me.
In a way, like, I'm a little bit worried that us seeing so much of Mantis Drax in this means that they won't play a big part in the new one.
Yeah, or the opposite. It's getting us used to seeing those two a lot.
I mean, I haven't heard too much about this new one. I've been kind of intentionally keeping it pretty blinded on for it. But I've heard that Dave Bautista doesn't particularly want to do any more.
Yeah.
So his character will get some sort of resolution, I imagine.
He'll get shot in the head.
Maybe, yeah. By Mantis. There you go. But no, yeah, interesting.
But yeah, so that's that for this week's Silver Screen project.
Yes.
Thank you for coming along. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And next time we'll be back talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Vol.3.
Yeah, and please do let us know if you are Proj or Projno to get more hyped from this film. And if you want to hear more stuff like this, we've got the Project on the same podcast feed. We talk about all sorts of stuff, but everything has to have project in the title. That's the only rule of the podcast.
Yeah, the one rule.
The one rule to rule them all.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.